Good evening, students. We are back with live revisionary lectures on financial management. आपका ratios, cost of capital and capital structure decisions. इस पे revisionary class हो गया है. Today we would be quickly revising leverages chapter. ठीक है? आपने ऑलरेडी लाइव वर्चुअल क्लासेस में इन डिटेल यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द मीनिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ लेवरेज हाउ टू सॉल्व प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स एवरीथिंग यू हैव लर्न इन टुडेज सेशन वी विल ब्रश अप व्हाट वी हैव लर्नड इन लेवरेजेस चैप्टर लेट मी जस्ट शेयर माय स्क्रीन विद यू ऑल is my screen visible can you see a blank slide do comment on the chat box so that I can correlate what is happening. Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, what have you understand or what have you understood by the term leverage? In general sense, forget about financial management, but in general sense, what did we understood about leverage? It was nothing but influence or power of one variable on another. Of one variable on another. Means एक वेरिएबल का दूसरे वेरिएबल पे दबाव. That was leverage in very simple term. And the general formula to calculate leverage was nothing but percentage change in dependent variable upon percentage change in independent variable. This was the general formula to calculate any leverage, not just operating leverage, not just financial leverage, or not just combined leverage. कोई भी leverage, if you want to calculate, you use this simple formula, change in dependent variable upon change in independent variable. ठीक है? Moving forward, now coming to financial management. By the term leverages, हमने क्या समझा था? What did you understand by the term leverages in financial management? Can I say it was nothing but risk? And risk specifically in the form of fixed cost. See, risk in the organization can be multiple, can be due to multiple factors. Geopolitical risk, it is one of the risk of organization. Fixed cost is a risk in organization. Employees not working professionally is also a risk in the organization. US tariffs or tariffs globally, it is risk in the organization. So there are multiple risks in the organization. But in this chapter, we are specifically targeting which risk? We are targeting risk in the form of fixed cost. Sir, fixed cost risk कैसे हुआ था? तो कहना है से irrespective of sales. Sales ज्यादा हो या कम हो, fixed cost will remain same. Correct? So in that sense, fixed cost is a risk in the organization. आपका sales zero भी होगा ना, फिर भी you have to bear and incur fixed cost. अच्छा, आपका sales 1000 crore भी होगा, फिर भी fixed cost will remain flat. Are you following? So in that sense, it was a risk. Fixed cost, in this chapter, we learned there are two types of fixed cost. Fixed operating cost and fixed financial cost. Correct? Fixed financial cost में cost incurred to raise the finance. So हम finance, हम capital कौन से sources से raise कर सकते हैं? Can I say debt से कर सकते हैं, equity से कर सकते हैं, preference से कर सकते हैं. Correct? Okay. So from these sources, कौन से कैपिटल में हमें फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट बेयर करना है? कैन आई से डेट में हमें इंटरेस्ट वी हैव टू पे फिक्स्ड irrespective of sales, irrespective of earnings, irrespective whether it is a profit, whether it is a loss, you need to pay fixed interest and preference dividend. प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स को भी हम फिक्स्ड प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड का परसेंटेज देते हैं, ठीक है. So under fixed financial cost, there are only two items, interest and preference dividend. हाँ, equity dividend can be a financial cost, but it is not a fixed financial cost. Why? Because equity dividend देना नहीं देना वो board of directors के हाथ में. अच्छा, board of directors agree भी करे फिर भी that needs to be approved by the shareholders. Correct? So equity dividend is a fixed cost. Is a financial cost, but it is not a fixed financial cost. ठीक है? It is optional financial cost. So under fixed financial cost हमने सीखा था there are only two items, interest and preference dividend. ये दो के अलावा जितने भी फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है वो सारे ऑपरेटिंग बन जाएंगे, जैसे कि फिक्स्ड सैलरी दैट यू पे टू एम्प्लॉयज एवरी मंथ, एसएलएम बेसिस पे डेप्रिसिएशन कर दिया वो भी एक फिक्स्ड ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट हुआ. फिर फैक्ट्री रेंट या मंथली ऑफिस रेंट that would be fixed. So all this type of fixed costs are called as operating cost. Interest और preference dividend के अलावा जितने भी fixed cost होते हैं वो सारे operating fixed cost माने जाते हैं, ठीक है. अच्छा, ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट से जुड़ा हुआ कौन सा लेवरेज था? सो ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के साथ जुड़ा हुआ लेवरेज वाज ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. एंड फाइनेंशियल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के साथ जुड़ा हुआ कौन सा लेवरेज था? फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. करेक्ट. दोनों को मर्ज कर दे, दोनों को कंबाइन कर दे, वी गेट कंबाइंड लेवरेज. ठीक है. आर यू एबल टू रिकलेक्ट व्हाट यू हैव लर्नड इन लेवरेज चैप्टर? सो ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज exists in the business due to presence of fixed operating cost. अगर फिक्स्ड ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट ही आपके बिजनेस में नहीं है तो ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज का नामो निशान नहीं रहेगा. Likewise, financial leverage exists into the business due to presence of interest and preference dividend or interest or preference dividend, either of the case. अगर इंटरेस्ट या प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड आपके बिजनेस में है ही नहीं, इफ इट इज ऑल इक्विटी फाइनेंस्ड कंपनी, तो आपके बिजनेस में फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज का नामो निशान नहीं होगा. ठीक है. और कंपनी में दोनों है, दोनों टाइप के फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है तो कंबाइंड लेवरेज होगा. फॉलोड. Further, you also learned that operating leverage की study starts from sales and ends at EBIT. What was the format of income statement that you have learned in this chapter? Can I say sales less variable cost करते थे, contribution मिलता था, fixed cost minus करते थे and EBIT मिलता था. Correct? So सेल से शुरू हुआ स्टडी एंड EBIT पे खत्म हुआ स्टडी वाज ऑल अबाउट ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. आर यू फॉलोइंग? व्हाई? बिकॉज ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज कम्स इनटू बिजनेस ओनली ड्यू टू ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. ठीक है. अच्छा, EBIT से स्टार्ट हुआ स्टडी, EPS पे एंड हुआ स्टडी वाज ऑल अबाउट फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. आई होप यू आर एबल टू रिकलेक्ट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. सो EBIT के बाद हम इंटरेस्ट माइनस करते थे, EBT मिलता था, टैक्स माइनस करते थे, EAT मिलता था, EAT में से वी सबट्रैक्ट प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड, वी गेट अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी, and if we divide by number of equity shares, NOES, we get EPS. Correct? This was the whole format of income statement that we used frequently in leverage chapter. EBIT से start हुआ study, EPS पे खत्म हुआ study was all about financial leverage, and combined leverage was study starting from sales and ending at EPS. हो रहा है recollect? कुछ याद आ रहा है? Just a quick response on the chat box. Are you able to recollect, students? Okay, moving forward. Okay, so then we studied how to calculate operating leverage. Operating leverage की formula थी contribution upon EBIT. This was for calculation of operating leverage. ठीक है? Let's say contribution is 3 lakh, EBIT is 1 lakh. A random example. So can I say मेरा operating leverage 3 आया? Then we understood how to interpret this 3. ये जो आंसर आप 3 लेके आए हो उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन क्या? That we understood. So can I say OL of 3 means if sales increase by 10%, my EBIT will increase by 30%. Sir, why only EBIT? Can I say operating leverage starts from sales and ends at EBIT? Operating leverage का study is from sales to EBIT, understanding the relationship of EBIT with changes in sales. That is operating leverage. ठीक है? ये 30% कैसे आया? तो 10 into 3, 30%. अच्छा, not just increase. If it decreases by 10%, if sales decreases by 10%, then EBIT will fall by 30%. Are you getting it? That's why it is a risk. Leverage is a risk. 10% sales गिरने से सीधा impact 30% EBIT fall होगी. Understanding? So this was this formula OL is equal to contribution upon EBIT that we used to calculate the leverage. But बाद में हमने interpretation of leverage की formula सीखी थी. What was the interpretation वाली formula? It was nothing but percentage change in EBIT upon percentage change in sales. ठीक है? If EBIT changes by 30% due to 10% increase or decrease in sales, so can I say OL will come to 3? Are you able to recollect, students? So this was all about operating leverage. फिर हम आगे बढ़े थे फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज में. फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज का फॉर्मूला क्या था? द फॉर्मूला टू कैलकुलेट फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज वाज EBIT upon EBT. But this formula can be used only when there is no preference share capital. ठीक है? जब क्वेश्चन में प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड नहीं है तब आप ये फॉर्मूला यूज कर सकते हैं. आर यू फॉलोइंग? करेक्ट. लेट्स से EBIT is 2 lakh, EBT is 1 lakh, तो FL is equal to 2. सो ये तो हो गया कैलकुलेशन. FL हमने कैलकुलेट कर दिया, फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करके आंसर 2 आ भी गया. करेक्ट. You got correct also, you got 2 marks also, but my point is how to interpret this 2. ये जो आंसर 2 आया है, 2 आया है, how to interpret that? So can I say FL is study from EBIT to EPS means impact on EPS due to changes in EBIT. Are you following? EBIT और EPS में डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल कौन सा है? EPS है. EPS is dependent on EBIT. EBIT is independent variable. अच्छा, ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज में सेल्स और EBIT में डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल इज whom? EBIT. EBIT is dependent on sales. Are you following? So that's why percentage change in dependent variable, which is nothing but percentage change in EBIT upon percentage change in independent variable, which is nothing but percentage change in sales. ठीक है? So financial with same analogy, financial leverage is study from EBIT to EPS. So any plus minus in EBIT, let's say 10% plus minus in EBIT will result in plus minus of 20% in EPS if your FL is 2. Are you following? This is how we used to interpret formula of FL. So FL की इंटरप्रिटेशन वाली फॉर्मूला क्या बन गई थी? परसेंटेज चेंज इन EPS अपॉन परसेंटेज चेंज इन EBIT. ठीक है? अच्छा, if EBIT is increasing or decreasing by 10%, सिर्फ EPS पे 20% इफेक्ट नहीं आएगी, EAT पे भी 20% इफेक्ट आती थी. ईबीटी पे भी 20% इफेक्ट आती थी. दिस वॉज अबाउट एफएल दैट वी लर्न इन आवर रेगुलर क्लासेस. अगर आपने नोट्स लिखे हो तो आपने देखा होगा, इट वॉज नॉट जस्ट परसेंटेज चेंज इन ईपीएस, इट वॉज परसेंटेज चेंज इन ईपीएस स्लैश अर्निंग्स आफ्टर टैक्स स्लैश अर्निंग्स बिफोर टैक्स. सब 20% से कम ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है. दिस वॉज फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज when no preference dividend is there. But when preference dividend is there, can I say FL की फॉर्मूला थी EBIT upon EBT less preference dividend upon 1 minus T. The very basic logic of dividing this by 1 minus T is very simple. ये EBIT is before tax, EBT is also before tax. Only preference dividend is after tax. So to make it comparable, हमें preference dividend को before tax लाना पड़ेगा. And before tax लाने के लिए you always divide it by 1 minus T. Before tax से after tax जाने के लिए you multiply it by 1 minus T. But after tax की item before tax पे लानी हो, you divide it by 1 minus T. I hope you are recollecting all this stuff that was taught in regular class. ठीक है. Last, combined leverage. Combined leverage is nothing but OL into FL. OL was contribution upon EBIT. अच्छा, FL की दो फॉर्मूला दी. One was when there is no preference share. Correct? And another was when there is preference shares. So EBIT gets cancelled. So when there is no preference shares, combined leverage की formula है contribution upon EBT. When there is no preference shares. And when there is preference shares, formula क्या बनती है? Contribution upon EBT minus preference dividend divided by 1 minus T. Are you following, students? Able to recollect? सर एफएल की इंटरप्रिटेशन लाइन बताओ. एफएल की इंटरप्रिटेशन इज इफ ईबीआईटी इंक्रीजेस बाय 10%, देन it will result in EPS to increase by 20% when FL is 2. अगर FL 3 है तो if EBIT increases by 10%, EPS will increase by 30%. Are you following? अगर FL 10 है, EBIT increases by 10%, EPS will increase by 100%. 10 into 10. अच्छा, if EBIT falls by 10%, तो EPS तो जाएगा सीधा 100% नीचे. Are you following? 100% नीचे means almost zero हो जाएगा. Understood? And interchangeably, instead of EPS, you can also think of EAT and EBT. Means अगर EBIT 10% से increase होता है, तो EAT will increase by 10%, EBT will also increase by 10%. Clear? Understood? अच्छा, combined leverage. How to interpret combined leverage? So can I say combined leverage की study starts from sales, ends at EPS. So any increase decrease in sales will result in increase decrease in EPS. Understood? So let's say if combined leverage comes to 4 times. So if sales increase decrease by 10%, EPS will increase decrease by 40%. अच्छा, if sales increase decrease by 100%, then EPS will increase decrease by 400%. Are you following, everyone? This is how you interpret combined leverage. कौन से leverage की study कहां से start होती है, कहां पे अंत होती है? If you remember this, then interpretation is very easy. Clear, everyone? Any doubts, any questions you want to ask till this stage, till this point in time? This is one of the easiest chapter of FM. Very easy practical problem, very scoring as well, and not that time consuming as well. जैसे कैपिटल बजटिंग है, इट इज लिटिल टाइम कंज्यूमिंग, कैलकुलेशंस इन्वॉल्व लिटिल कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी एंड इट टेक्स टाइम, बट लेवरेज में सब फास्ट कैलकुलेट होता है, इट सेव्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. ठीक है, सो इट इज वन ऑफ द इजीएस्ट चैप्टर ऑफ एफएम इंटर. ओके, क्लियर टिलियर. अच्छा, ओएल related with margin of safety. Can anyone tell how OL is related with margin of safety? You have learned what is margin of safety in leverages chapter as well and in costing as well. Margin of safety is nothing but sales over and above break even sales. ठीक है, सो OL हमने एक क्वेश्चन में देखा था दैट इट इज इनवर्स ऑफ मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी. इट मींस जितना सेफ्टी नेट ज्यादा, कहना से उतना रिस्क कम, जितना सेफ्टी ज्यादा उतना रिस्क कम. सो कहना से इन दैट सेंस आल्सो इट इज इनवर्स टू मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी. सो OL we learned that it is nothing but 1 upon MOS, or MOS is nothing but 1 upon OL. MOS is nothing but margin of safety. So it is inversely related with, yes, margin of safety is actual sales minus break even sales. So that is margin of safety in rupees. If you want to calculate margin of safety in percentage, then the formula was actual sales less break even sales divided by actual sales into 100. This is what you have learned. ठीक है, सो जितना सेफ्टी नेट ज्यादा, कहना इसे उतना रिस्क कम होगा बिजनेस में. सो कहना इसे सेफ्टी एंड रिस्क इज इनवर्सली रिलेटेड. सो हमने ये फॉर्मूला भी देखी थी, OL इज नथिंग बट 1 अपॉन MOS और MOS इज नथिंग बट 1 अपॉन ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. ठीक है, clear till here? Any doubts, any concerns till here? I'm just see this all, how to watch that again. Okay, so for that query, if you are not able to see that, you can raise query to the FM board of studies team. You can send them email and they will get it clear for you. ठीक है, now see, these all things that I have just brushed up with you, you all know this. I was just quickly revising, quickly brushing up the concepts, the formulas, OL related with MOS, combined leverage, interpretation, everything. Okay? So now let's take some practical problem and try to learn leverage in a better way now. Let's see. Okay. So there is one very good question in RTP of May 2026. Little combination of ratios and working and cost of capital chapter as well. But it is a very unique in itself. So let's try to solve RTP May 26 question 7. Everyone please open RTP May 2026 attempt. Question number 7, leverage analysis. Let's read and let's try to find out what is asked in the question. ठीक है, अच्छा, my strong advice to all the students, कभी भी है ना क्वेश्चन पढ़ के टेंशन में नहीं आ जाने का. Let's read and let's think how we can start. ठीक है, don't fear. ABC Manufacturing Limited produces industrial component with a well-established market presence. The company operates under a special tax-free status granted by the government. Oh, so company में कोई भी tax नहीं है. It is under tax-free status. It is under a special exemption status granted by government. ठीक है? This is very important line. Other financial information is as follows. The company's financial parameters for the current fiscal year are as follows. So company के कैपिटल में टोटल 20 लाख रुपए है. अब ये 20 लाख हमने कैसे रेस करे हैं, that we don't know as of now. ठीक है, इक्विटी से हो सकता है, डेट से हो सकता है, प्रेफरेंस से हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, but we don't know as of now. cost of equity 12%, cost of debt 6%, WACC is 9%. Oh, okay. So overall weighted average cost of capital is 9%. Okay, so let me just note down. This is question 7, RTP May 2026. First point, tax free status hai. There is no tax liability to the company. This will be useful for me because income statement में हम tax minus करते हैं ना, तो यहाँ पे zero होगा tax because it is tax free exemption status. Second, KE of the company is 12 and KD is 6. KD is 6. And overall WACC, overall KO, cost of capital is 9%. This is what question has said. Other operational information is as follows. Annual sales revenue is 24 lakh rupees. Variable cost is 50%, means 12 lakh hua. Fixed cost is 10 lakh. So my contribution comes to 12 lakh minus fixed cost 10 lakh, EBIT is 2 lakh. Okay? General corporate tax rate is 25%. Okay, but tell me, जनरल बाकी सब कंपनी 25% भरती है, बट क्या हमें टैक्स भरना होगा कि नहीं होगा? कैन एनीवन टेल मी दिस? क्या हमें टैक्स भरना है कि नहीं भरना है? बोलो. हम तो हमारी कंपनी का देखेंगे, हम क्यों दूसरी कंपनी का टैक्स रेट देखें? हमारे लिए क्या है दैट इज रेलेवेंट फॉर अस, करेक्ट? सो वी हैव, सो दिस इज जस्ट फॉर यू टू गेट कंफ्यूज. ठीक है कि ऊपर टैक्स फ्री बोला या 25%, बट इग्नोर, दिस इज जनरल कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स रेट. हम किस में, हम एग्जेम्पशन स्टेटस में. ठीक है. एज अ फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट you have been tasked with conducting a comprehensive financial analysis of ABC manufacturing. See, यहाँ पे they have not just asked to calculate leverage, they have asked to undertake comprehensive financial analysis. And उसमें हमें क्या क्या ढूंढना है? तो फर्स्ट, डिटरमाइन द ऑप्टिमल डेट इक्विटी composition that results in a given weighted average cost of capital of 9%. मतलब कि क्वेश्चन 1 में ये बोला है कि ये जो केओ आपका 9% आया है ना, उसमें भी नो के इज 12% एंड केडी इज 6%, बट डेट का वेट कितना, इक्विटी का वेट कितना, व्हाट इज द कॉम्पोजिशन, व्हाट इज द प्रपोर्शन ऑफ डेट, व्हाट इज द प्रपोर्शन ऑफ इक्विटी, दिस इज व्हाट दे आस्क्ड. तो कैन आई से डब्ल्यूएसीसी की फॉर्मूला हमारी क्या थी? वेट ऑफ डेट, कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट प्लस weight of equity, cost of equity, correct? Yes or no? So can I say KO, overall KO is 9. I don't know weight of debt, so let it be WD. But can I know cost of debt, which is 6? I don't know weight of equity, but can I write this as 1 minus WD, everyone? See, in the current question, there are only two sources of capital, debt and equity. मुझे कहाँ से पता चला ये? तो फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ से पता चला कि there is only debt and equity in the capital. ये अगर प्रेफरेंस शेयर होता तो कहना है इसे KP देते, कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रेफरेंस भी देते. Are you following? So in absence of that information, can I say there would be no preference share capital in the company's capital structure? Understanding? So can I say WD and WE would be 1? Yes or no? WD, weight of debt plus weight of equity would be equal to 1. Are you following, everyone? Are you getting this? Any doubts in this? No response. I presume it is clear. Huh? K is 12. So 9 is equal to 6 WD plus 12 minus 12 WD. ठीक है? So 6 minus 12, 6 WD is equal to 3. Sorry. So 6 WD is equal to 3. Therefore, WD, weight of debt would be 0.5. Therefore, weight of equity 1 minus 0.5. Can I say 0.5, 0.5? Total weight 1 आ गया. Clear? So this is the optimum composition of debt and equity. This is what they have asked in point number 1. Optimum debt equity composition. Composition means weight of debt kitna, weight of equity kitna. Are you following? So can I say this is the composition of debt and weight? Acha. So in other words, mera debt in rupees will be how much? Total capital is 20 lakhs. Uska 0.5 is my debt. 10 lakhs. Equity in rupees would be how much? Again, total capital is 20 lakh. Uska 0.5 is equity. 10 lakh. Clear till here? Point 1, any doubts? Any of the students? Clear, easy? Next point. Prepare a comprehensive income statement showing company's profitability when cost of debt is 6%, 10%, 12%. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे आपको 3 बार इनकम स्टेटमेंट बनाना है. When KD is 6%, when it is 10% and when it is 12%. So तीनों केस में हम इनकम स्टेटमेंट बनाएंगे. ठीक है? So when KD is 6%, KD is 10%, and when KD is 12%. If, see, you have learned cost of capital chapter and you have revised that chapter as well. तो ये KD कैसे कैलकुलेट होता था? What is the formula to calculate KD? What was the formula to calculate KD? Can anyone tell me? जो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल में हम KD कैलकुलेट करते हैं, कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट, वो कैसे कैलकुलेट होता था? क्विक रिस्पॉन्स. सोचो, कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट. व्हाई एवरीवन? हाँ, interest 1 minus T. Interest 1 minus T. This was the formula to calculate 1 KD. Correct? अच्छा, यहाँ पे कोई टैक्स है? And everyone, there is zero tax. So can I say KD will be my interest rate only? Everyone following? जो भी मेरा KD 6% है, वही मेरा ब्याज का रेट होगा. Are you following everyone? Why? Because tax free status of the company. कंपनी को कोई टैक्स नहीं लग रहा है. Are you following everyone? अगर 25% टैक्स लगता तो कहना है से मेरा इंटरेस्ट का रेट क्या होता? इंटरेस्ट 1 minus 0.25 means 0.75. 6 divided by 0.75. कितना आता है? 6 divided by 0.75. 6 divided by 0.8%. That would be my interest rate. सर ये इंटरेस्ट रेट अलग क्यों ढूंढ रहे हो? 6% बोला है ना. ए दैट इज कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट. ये कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट कैसे कैलकुलेट हुआ होगा? इंटरेस्ट 1 minus T करके कैलकुलेट हुआ होगा. सो इफ कंपनी वॉज नॉट इन टैक्स फ्री स्टेटस तो कहना है मेरा इंटरेस्ट रेट और KD सेम नहीं होगा. इंटरेस्ट रेट वुड बी समथिंग हायर देन KD. सो इन दैट केस इंटरेस्ट रेट वुड बी 8%. हाँ ठीक है सर, 8% आया, बट ढूंढा क्यों? ये कहना है इसे EBIT में से हम इंटरेस्ट माइनस करते हैं. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो उस इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट कैलकुलेट करने के लिए वी यूज दिस इंटरेस्ट रेट एंड नॉट KD रेट. आर यू ट्राइंग टू प्रोसेस व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से? आर यू एबल टू एनालाइज? हाँ, in this question KD and interest rate is same. Why? Because tax zero है. बट अगर ऐसा लाइन नहीं दिया होता कि कंपनी इज इन टैक्स फ्री स्टेटस तो कहना है इसे इंटरेस्ट रेट वुड बी समथिंग हायर देन KD. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो इन दैट केस मेरा इंटरेस्ट रेट 8% आता. हाँ ठीक है सर, आने दो ना इंटरेस्ट 8%, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? फर्क पड़ता है. हम ईबीआईटी के बाद जो इंटरेस्ट माइनस करते हैं ना, उस पे 6% अप्लाई नहीं करना है, 8% अप्लाई करना है। क्या फर्क पड़ता है? स्टूडेंट्स, डिड यू गेट दिस? आई एम वेटिंग फॉर योर रिस्पॉन्स। क्लियर? ओके। सो यहाँ पे केडी इज नथिंग बट इंटरेस्ट। हाँ, interest rate is equal to KD is equal to same 6, 10 and this looks messy. हम नीचे लाइन लिखते हैं, since company is a tax free status company, interest rate is equal to KD. ठीक है? So now let's prepare an income statement in all the three scenarios. Let's start from new slide. 6%, 10%, 12%. Sales is given as 24 lakhs. Correct? Variable cost is 50%. So can I say contribution or PV ratio will be at 50% of sales? So 12 lakh, 12 lakh, 12 lakh. इसमें से हम फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट माइनस करते हैं तो हमें ईबीआईटी मिलेगा. Fixed cost, how much it is given in the question? It is 10 lakh. So 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh. ठीक है? So my EBIT comes to 2 lakh, 2 lakh, 2 lakh. फिर हम इंटरेस्ट माइनस करेंगे. इंटरेस्ट इज ऑलवेज ऑन डेट कैपिटल. कैन आई से माय डेट कैपिटल इज 10 lakh? यस और नो? 10 lakh का डेट कैपिटल हमने पॉइंट 1 में कैलकुलेट किया ना, दैट इज 10 lakh. सो फर्स्ट केस में 10 lakh पे 6% इंटरेस्ट रेट लगेगा. अच्छा, अगर टैक्स फ्री स्टेटस नहीं होता कंपनी को तो 10 lakh पे 8% लगता. आर यू फॉलोइंग? Here it would be 10 lakh पे 10% and for case 3 it would be 10 lakh पे 12%. ठीक है? So 10 lakh पे 6% 60,000, 1 lakh and 1 lakh 20,000. So my earnings before tax comes to 1 lakh 40,000, 1 lakh and 80,000. Can I say tax is 0? So earnings before tax ही मेरा earnings after tax बन जाएगा. Because tax is 0, I don't need to pay any tax. ठीक है? अच्छा, नंबर ऑफ इक्विटी शेयर्स बोला है कहीं पे भी? Number of equity shares is not given. We know equity share capital is 10 lakh, but face value हमें पता नहीं है. ठीक है? So we will end our point number 2 का solution over here. Prepare a comprehensive income statement. ठीक है? So आ गया 140, 1 lakh and 80,000. So they have also ended over here. बोलो, any doubts, students, in income statement? Clear? Why interest rate is equal to KD, वो भी क्लियर हो गया. आगे बढ़े, पॉइंट नंबर 3. Okay, thank you for your response. Let's move to point number 3. Point number 3, calculate ROI to assess how efficiently company is utilizing its capital invested. So point number 3 is ROI. What is the formula of ROI? My capital invested in the business is 20 lakh. उस 20 lakh पे मैंने कितना अर्निंग्स कमाया? तो कैन आई से आई हैव टू कंसीडर EBIT एज माय अर्निंग्स फॉर ROI. सर अर्निंग्स तो EBT भी है, EAT भी है, तो आप EBIT क्यों ले रहे हो? Can anyone give reply to this question? ROI में हम न्यूमरेटर में EBIT क्यों लेते हैं? EBIT अपॉन कैपिटल इन्वेस्टेड into 100. This is the formula, correct? This you have learned in ratios also. But numerator में EBIT ही क्यों लेते हैं? Why don't we take EBT? Why don't we take EAT? Can anyone tell me? हाँ, formula is correct, आदित्य. But my question is थोड़ा अलग कि earnings ही लेना है numerator में. Return means earnings. तो earnings before tax भी earnings है. EAT भी earnings है. अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी भी एक अर्निंग्स है. तो हम ईबीआईटी क्यों लेते हैं? टू कैलकुलेट आरओआई. यस, बिकॉज कैपिटल इन्वेस्टेड मींस ऑल सोर्सेज ऑफ कैपिटल, बी डेट, प्रेफरेंस, इक्विटी, सब आ गए कैपिटल इन्वेस्टेड में. सो इस कैपिटल इन्वेस्टेड के लिए हमने क्या प्रॉफिट कमाया है? तो कहना है सबके लिए तो हमने ईबीआईटी कमाया. फिर हम सबका हिस्सा बांटेंगे. पहले डेट होल्डर्स को उनका इंटरेस्ट दे देंगे, फिर गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स दे देंगे, फिर प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स को प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड देंगे. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो सबके लिए तो हमने ईबीआईटी कमाया है. इस ईबीआईटी पे सबका हिस्सा है. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी टेक ईबीआईटी इन द न्यूमरेटर. आर यू फॉलोइंग? सो कैन आई से फॉर्मूला ऑफ आरओआई इज ईबीआईटी अपॉन कैपिटल इन्वेस्टेड इनटू 100. तो when KD is 6%, 10% or 12%, EBIT is same in all the cases. Correct? Capital invested is same in all the cases. So can I say ROI will remain same in all the cases? EBIT is 2 lakh. Capital invested is 20 lakhs into 100. So can I say 10%? Whether KD is 6%, whether KD is 10%, whether KD is 12%. In all the cases, my ROI will remain same. Because numerator, denominator, तीनों केस में same ही है. Following everyone? So this is point number 3. Calculating ROI. Can you see 10, 10, 10 तीनों केस में? Understood? Any doubts in point number 3? आगे बढ़ू? Clear. Let's move to point number 4. Calculate ROE. Now not return on investment, return specifically for equity. To evaluate return for equity shareholders. So then I say 4th point. Return on equity. ठीक है? रिटर्न मीन्स अर्निंग्स, ऑन इक्विटी मीन्स डिनोमिनेटर में इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड हो जाएगा. तो इनके लिए हम कौन सा प्रॉफिट कमाते हैं? तो कहना है आइडियली इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड्स के लिए, इक्विटी के लिए हम अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी कमाते हैं. बट यहाँ पे अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी इज नथिंग बट ईएटी ओनली. व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर इज नो प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. आर यू फॉलोइंग? तो फॉर्मूला क्या बन जाएगी? ईएटी अपॉन इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड इनटू 100. अंडरस्टूड? अब यहाँ पे ईबीआईटी नहीं लेंगे. इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए आपने कितना कमाया, तो उनके लिए प्रॉफिट तो ये बचा है 141,80,000. सो दैट विल बिकम माय न्यूमरेटर फॉर आरओई. अंडरस्टूड? सो आपको क्या पूछा है वो ध्यान देना है. ROI, then it is earning for all. ROE, earnings only for equity. Understood everyone? Okay, so when KD is 6%, हमारा EAT was 1,40,000 and equity fund is 10 lakh. Correct? 20 लाख में से इक्विटी का 10 लाख है into 100, तो ये आ गया 14%. When KD is 10%, तो कहना है मेरा EAT is 1 lakh. Equity shareholders fund is 10 lakh into 100. So this comes to 10%. See, ROE will not remain constant because numerator is fluctuating. And when KD is equal to 12%, mera earnings after tax is 80,000 divided by 10 lakh into 100. So this comes to 8%. ठीक है, अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन, ऑल क्लियर? How to calculate ROE, everything clear? Any doubts, any concerns? Point number 4 is also done. So can you see, जब जब इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है तब तब अर्निंग्स फॉर इक्विटी कम होते जा रहा है। जब जब इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है मींस फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज बढ़ेगा, मींस फाइनेंशियल रिस्क बढ़ेगा, रिस्क बढ़ा तो सामने रिटर्न कम मिलेगा ओनर्स को। आर यू फॉलोइंग? दिस इज अ वेरी रैशनल एनोलॉजी। जितना रिस्क बढ़ेगा उतना रिटर्न कम मिलेगा। So point 4 clear. Let's move to point number 5 now. Find the different leverages in the following format. See, they have given the format. So just stick to the format and find it. So let's just stick to the format. पहले format बनाओ. This is point number 5. Leverage is column 1. Second is computation. Computation means formula of that respective leverage. Third is dependent on. Fourth is indicates effect of. Indicates effect of dash on dash. Okay, there are two fill in the blanks in the last column. Okay. First, leverage is showing level of business risk. A business risk means operating risk. हाँ? तो कौन सा leverage calculates operating risk? बोलो, कौन सा leverage shows level of operating risk? While replying in exam, do we need to? Yes, you need to mention the formula. Formula तो लिखनी ही है. ओके, सो बिजनेस रिस्क या ऑपरेटिंग रिस्क, उसके साथ कौन सा लेवरेज जुड़ा है? ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. तो कहना है से फर्स्ट केस में दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. हाउ टू कैलकुलेट ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज? हाउ डू वी कंप्यूट दैट? फॉर्मूला इज कंट्रीब्यूशन अपॉन ईबीआईटी. करेक्ट. तो हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन कितना है इस केस में? अच्छा, कंट्रीब्यूशन इज 12 लाख 12 लाख 12 लाख डिवाइड बाय EBIT इज 2 लाख. ठीक है, तीनों केस में सेम है. So 12 lakh divided by 2 lakh, which comes to 6. Tell me, operating leverage is dependent on which fixed cost? Operating leverage exists into the business due to presence of which fixed cost? Can I say due to presence of operating fixed cost? Hey, are you following? So can I say operating leverage is dependent on fixed operating cost? Everyone, it is dependent on fixed operating cost. अगर operating cost ही नहीं है तो operating leverage नहीं आएगा. Understood? Last, it indicates effect of what on what? So it indicates, see, this is nothing but they are asking you about interpretation of leverage. ये हो गया calculation of leverage. And last column is about interpretation of leverage. तो leverage की study start होती है sales पे, अंत होती है कहाँ? EBIT पे. Correct? So it indicates effect of increase decrease in sales on EBIT. Are you following everyone? Because dependent variable is what? Dependent variable is EBIT. ठीक है? Are you following this? Everyone clear? देखो, first business risk है तो leverage operating leverage. How to calculate operating leverage? Contribution upon EBIT. It is dependent on fixed operating cost and it indicates in effect of plus minus in sales on EBIT. Understood? Everyone? It indicates effect of sales. Effect of sales on EBIT. Understood? For operating leverage. Clear हुआ? So यहाँ पे they have asked you to calculate leverage. साथ में they have also asked to interpret leverage. पूरा लेवरेज का कॉन्सेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग एक ही टेबल में पूछ लिया. क्लियर? नेक्स्ट इज leverage showing level of financial risk. Financial risk is in the business due to presence of fixed financial cost. तो कहने से financial leverage की बात कर रहे हैं. Point number 2. ठीक है? And in this question there is no preference share capital. तो हमारी फॉर्मूला क्या बन जाएगी? EBIT upon EBT. Understood everyone? Clear? So can you see EBIT upon EBT? So they have done calculation for 6%. 2 lakh divided by 140. हम 10% का भी कर सकते हैं, हम 12% का भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? Okay, so let's calculate financial leverage when KD is 6%, when KD is 10%, when KD is 12%. सी उन्होंने स्पेसिफिकली नहीं पूछा है ना कि कौन से परसेंटेज पे फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज ढूंढना है. सो टू बी ऑन अ कंजर्वेटिव साइड तीनों केस में आप करके आओ. ओके, सो यहाँ पे ईबीआईटी तो रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट इन ऑल द केस. हाँ, ईबीटी विल चेंज. ईबीटी इन सिनेरियो 1 इज 1,40,000, in case 2 is 1 lakh, and in case 3 is 80. So 1.4, 1 lakh, 0.8. ठीक है? So 2 divided by 1.4, it comes to 1.43. 2 divided by 1, 2. 2 divided by 0.8. 2 divided by 0.8, it comes to 2.5. Understood everyone? So this is computation. Next क्या पूछा है? Dependent on. Can I say financial leverage is dependent on fixed financial cost? Are you getting it? जैसे operating leverage is dependent on fixed operating cost, financial leverage is dependent on fixed financial cost. And इस केस में specifically बात करें तो it is dependent only on interest because there is no preference dividend. Understood? Fourth, interpretation of financial leverage. So can I say financial leverage की स्टडी शुरुआत होती है EBIT पे, अंत होता है EPS पे. ठीक है? So it indicates effect of EBIT on EPS. Means EBIT plus minus करे तो उसकी इफेक्ट EPS पे कितनी आएगी? That they have asked. ठीक है? So effect of EBIT on EPS. Everyone following? So can you see effect of EBIT on EPS? Clear, it is dependent on fixed financial cost. And in this question specifically, it is dependent on interest because there is no preference dividend. Likewise, moving to third. Third में क्या पूछा है? Leverage showing level of combined risk. के नाम में ही है. Combined risk means combined leverage. So third is the case of combined leverage. How do you compute combined leverage? It is OL into FL. ठीक है? So again, combined leverage, 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 when KD is 6%, when KD is 10, when KD is 12. ठीक है? So scenario 1 will be OL is 6, FL is 1.43. Scenario 2, OL is 6, FL is 2. Scenario 3, OL is 6, FL is 2.5. So, in solution, they have solved for first scenario, but since question is silent, I will advise आप तीनों scenario में solve करके आओ. So there is no scope of any error. So this is 8.58, 12 and 6 into 2.5. This is 15. ठीक है? Tell me, combined leverage is dependent on, can I say both the fixed cost, fixed operating cost and fixed financial cost? Yes or yes? Yes, sir. Absolutely yes. So it is dependent of fixed operating plus fixed financial cost. ठीक है? Last, interpretation of combined leverage. It is a study starting from sales and ending at EPS. So it indicates effect of plus minus of sales on EPS. ठीक है? सेल्स प्लस माइनस ऊपर नीचे होता है तो उसकी इंपैक्ट ईपीएस पे कितनी आएगी, दैट इज इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ कंबाइंड लेवरेज. सो इफेक्ट ऑफ सेल्स ऑन ईपीएस. अंडरस्टूड? Effect of sales on EPS. It is dependent on both fixed operating and fixed financial cost. And they have calculated combined leverage when KD is 6%. ठीक है? Clear? So point number 5, clear? सारा लेवरेज का कैलकुलेशन, कॉन्सेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, इंटरप्रिटेशन सब एक ही चीज में एक ही टेबल में पूछ लिया. बोलो, any doubts in question 5 students? Clear? So let's move to point number 6. Explain the concept of leverage as a double-edged sword. हमने ये सीखा था कि leverage is a double-edged sword. The double-edged sword किस तरह? So the logic behind this is something like this. This is a balance sheet, correct? आप आइडियली रैशनली बिजनेस में हम कैपिटल रेस करते हैं एंड वो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं इन द बिजनेस. असेट्स में, वर्किंग कैपिटल में, सब में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. ठीक है? लेट से डेट और इक्विटी से पैसा रेस किया. ओके, पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया. अब जहां पे भी हमने जो भी बिजनेस में हमने पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया है, कहना ऐसे वहां से मुझे ROI 10% मिल रहा है. आर यू फॉलोइंग दिस? अच्छा, सो ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट यू आर अर्निंग 10%, बट सामने कहना ऐसे यू आर पेइंग फिक्स्ड परसेंटेज of 6% on debt. You are paying fixed percentage of 10% on debt in scenario 2. And in scenario 3, you are paying fixed percentage of 12% on debt. Yes or no? Means कमाई 10% की हुई, सामने पेमेंट 6% का डेट है. बोलो फेवरेबल की अनफेवरेबल? इज इट गुड और बैड? रैशनली सोचो, थिंक फ्रॉम लेमन पर्सपेक्टिव. जहां पैसा लगाया वहां से 10% कमाया और सामने मेरी फिक्स्ड लायबिलिटी है 6% की, तो क्या मैं इजीली भरपाई कर पाऊंगा? टेल मी, will I be able to easily repay the fixed debt percentage? Yes, so it is favorable. अच्छा, कमाई 10%, सामने फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट is 10%. So it is at par. Are you following? So neither favorable, neither unfavorable. But सामने मैं कमाई 10% कर रहा हूं and now I need to pay a fixed percentage of 12%. बोलो फेवरेबल की अनफेवरेबल? अनफेवरेबल. ठीक है? आप कमाई इन्वेस्टमेंट से 10% कर रहे हो, 12% डेट होल्डर्स लेके जा रहे हैं, तो कहना है इक्विटी के लिए तो नेगेटिव अर्निंग्स बचेगा. अल्टीमेटली ये जो नुकसान है 2% का, हु विल बेयर? अल्टीमेटली द ओनर्स. अल्टीमेट ओनर्स हैज टू बेयर. अच्छा, यहाँ पे 10% इज अर्निंग्स, फिक्स्ड परसेंटेज इज 6%, 4% इज सरप्लस. अल्टीमेटली हु विल एंजॉय दिस क्रीम ऑफ 4%? Who will enjoy this cherry? Ultimate owners. Understood? Followed everyone? So did you understand double-edged sword leverage? So if ROI is greater than fixed percentage cost of fund, then your financial leverage is favorable. Are you following? Then it is favorable. But when ROI is less than fixed cost percentage fund, then financial leverage becomes unfavorable to the ultimate owners. Why? Because ये जो 2% का नुकसान होगा ना, अल्टीमेटली अल्टीमेट ओनर्स को भुगतान उनको बेयर करना है. सो इट इज अनफेवरेबल टू देम. हाँ, बट व्हेन आरओआई इज ग्रेटर देन फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट परसेंटेज फंड, then the excess malai, excess cream will go to ultimate owner. So that is favorable to them. It will increase their EPS, it will increase their earnings. Are you following? So ये सब चीजें आपको पॉइंट नंबर 6 में लिखना है. Just read point number 6 and tell me, did you understand or not? यहां से स्टार्ट होता है एंड यहाँ पे अंत होता है. Just read and tell me whether you understood everything or not. This is just what I explained now. So, when the cost of fixed cost fund means debt, means when the cost of debt is less than ROI, financial leverage will help to increase EPS and in turn return on equity. Okay? But when cost of debt is more than the return, it will affect EPS and it will affect return on equity. And as a result, क्या होगा? Financial distress. Distress means equity shareholders को नींद नहीं आएगी कि यार हमारा तो नेगेटिव जा रहा है रिटर्न, सारे पैसे हम जितना कमा रहे हैं उससे ज्यादा तो हम डेट होल्डर्स को दे रहे हैं. नींद नहीं आएगी. They would be in distress mentally as well as financially. Are you following? So that's why financial leverage is also known as double-edged sword. फिर they have just written that when ROI is greater than interest, favorable. ROI less than fixed cost percentage, unfavorable. ROI equal, neither favorable nor unfavorable. Clear everyone? Point number 6. Yes, you have to write in exam because they have asked na, explain the concept of leverage as double-edged sword. You have to write. हाँ, you can write it in your own words. Exactly ये लिखना ऐसा नहीं है जरूरी. You can frame it in your own words. But मतलब ये निकलना चाहिए. Clear? So point 6 clear. So can you see number of questions are asked in a single question. ये पूरा एनालिसिस है कंपनी का. Now last point number 7. ठीक है? Last point number 7. Again they have given a format. They have asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in point number 7. They have everything given in the format. क्या ढूंढना है वो टेबल में ही बताया गया है. So let's take one by one. First let's prepare the format. यहाँ पे 6% है, 10% है, 12% है. ठीक है? फर्स्ट क्या बोला है? Return on investment percent of equity. Can I say my ROI is 10? So they have asked 10% of equity. Are you following everyone? Return of investment percent. How much is my ROI? 10. So this is 10% of equity. Okay? So first is 10% of equity. Return of investment is 10%. Of equity means 10% of equity. Can I say my equity capital is 10 lakh? So 10 lakh ka 10% would be 1 lakh each in all the case. Any doubts, students? Can you see the solution? 10% of equity. 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Okay? Second, what they've asked? Surplus deficit from debt payments in percentage. A means, in other words, they have asked this point. कि ROI is 10%. सामने your fixed cost percentage is 6. So how much is the surplus? 4%. This is what they've asked in point number 2. If your cost of debt is 12%, ROI is 10%, how much is the deficit in percent? 2%. This is what they have asked. Are you following? Cream kitna, malai kitna, nuksan kitna. This is what they have asked in point number B. Surplus deficit from debt payments in percentage. In percentage. So can I say my ROI is 10 in all the scenario it is 10, 10, 10 ROI. But in case 1, my debt percentage is 6. In case 2, debt percentage is 10. And in case 3, debt percentage is 12. So यहाँ पे plus 4% is surplus. यहाँ पे nil and यहाँ पे negative 2%. Clear? Everyone clear till here? So 0.2, 4, 0, -2. ठीक है? So can I say ये मलाई 4% वो किसको मिलेगी? इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को मिलेगी. ये 2% नुकसान किसको जाएगा? अल्टीमेट ओनर्स को जाएगा. So in percentage it is 4%, but in rupees it is how much? That is point number C. Surplus deficit in rupees. So can I say my equity capital is 10 lakh. उनको 4% का फायदा होगा, means 40,000 का फायदा होगा. Are you following? Equity capital is 10 lakh. उनको नुकसान हो रहा है 2% का. So in short, they have to face a loss of 20,000. Hey, are you getting this, everyone? ये मलाई है 4% की, वो किसको खाने मिलेगी? वो अल्टीमेट ओनर्स को खाने मिलेगी. ये अल्टीमेट ओनर्स की वैल्यू कितनी है? 10 लाख है, तो उस पे 4% मलाई मींस 40,000 आएगा. आर यू फॉलोइंग? यहाँ पे तो 10 लाख पे 0% मलाई, 0% लॉस, सो नथिंग ओवर हियर. यहाँ पे 10 लाख पे -2% they have to face. They have to face a distress. Are you following? So surplus deficit in rupees, can I say over here 40,000 nil and यहाँ पे negative 20,000. Everyone understanding? Point A, point B, point C. Follow any doubts? So can you see surplus deficit in rupees 40 nil negative 20. ठीक है? Just understand rationally सोचो सब. Don't try to rectify or do rote learning. Think it logically, think it rationally. बोलो clear? Yes, if reserves are there, that will be added to equity. So, okay. So part C is done. ये भी हो गया. Surplus deficit in percent, surplus deficit in INR, in rupees. Fourth क्या पूछा है? ROE. They've asked ROE. अच्छा, ROE ढूंढने के लिए they themselves has given formula. It is nothing but ROI plus surplus less deficit. ठीक है? ROE in rupees. What formula they have given? ROI plus surplus less deficit. ठीक है? So ROI in rupees was how much? It was 1 lakh plus surplus in rupees is 40,000. अच्छा, deficit in scenario 1 तो कुछ है ही नहीं. ठीक है? So here it will be 1 lakh plus 0.4 lakh. There is no deficit, means 0. For scenario 2 it will be 1 lakh. ROI surplus is 0, deficit is 0. For scenario 3, 1 lakh, surplus is 0, but deficit is 20,000. So return to equity in rupees will be, can I say 1,40,000, 1 lakh and 80,000. अब आपको एक जादू दिखाऊं मैं. Return on equity in rupees. So this is earnings after tax. देखो यहाँ पे. Can you see return on equity in rupees? Earnings after tax 140, 1,80,000. Tally हो गया. इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए हमने कितना पैसे कमाया इन रुपीज, नॉट इन परसेंटेज। बी पॉइंट में इन रुपीज बोला है, तो आ गया 140, 1,80,000, सिनेरियो 1 2 3 क्लियर, मैच हो गया। 140, 1,80,000 आरओ इन रुपीज। So ROI plus surplus minus deficit, can I say it is nothing but earnings after tax in this question? Yes or no? Clear or not? See, I need response, otherwise I will not be able to catch whether you are understanding or not. And at the end, I have to presume that you have understood. So आ गया ROI 140, 1,80,000. So this is ROI, ROE in rupees. Now they have asked ROE in percentage. So can I say ROE in percentage is nothing but ROE in rupees divided by equity amount. Followed? So E is ROE in percentage. इसकी फॉर्मूला क्या बनेगी? ROE in rupees divided by equity into 100. This formula they have also mentioned. See over here. ROE in percentage is equal to ROE in rupees in INR divided by equity. Or else it is nothing but earnings after tax divided by equity. Followed? So यहाँ पे it is 1.4 lakh divided by 10 lakh, 1 lakh divided by 10 lakh into 100 करेंगे तो परसेंटेज में आ जाएगा 0.8 lakh divided by 10 lakh into 100. So 14%, 10%, 8%. So this matches, this should match with our ROE, with our ROE. ठीक है? So in short, it is nothing but see, कंपनी ने ओवरऑल बिजनेस में से 10% कमाया, बट यहाँ पे सिनेरियो 1 में इक्विटी को +4% एक्स्ट्रा मलाई मिलने वाली है, तो 14% हो गया। इन सिनेरियो 3 बिजनेस में से 10% कमाया, बट सामने इक्विटी होल्डर्स को 2% का नुकसान सहना है, तो उनको 8% मिलेगा। अंडरस्टूड लॉजिकली? आर यू एबल टू कनेक्ट? एवरीवन clear? So this is point E of point number 7, 14, 10 and 8. Understood? So this was a very good unique question where they have tested all conceptual understanding of leverage. See, syllabus के बाहर का कुछ भी नहीं है. It is everything from syllabus, that too from conceptual understanding part. So highly recommended your conceptual understanding, your concept has to be strong. फिर इधर उधर थोड़े ट्रिकी एडजस्टमेंट भी आ जाए ना, यू शुड बी एबल टू सॉल्व. बेस शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग. If your base and concepts are very clear, you can easily face those tricky adjustments. ठीक है? So this was question number 7 of RTP May 2026. बोलो इसमें thorough, everyone thorough with this question? In how many minutes? It depends on your practice and speed. My speed may be different. Your speed may be different. So it depends. The more you practice, the more fast you will be able to solve. Less practice, slow you will be able to solve. Okay? So it depends on person to person. But ideally, just a random guess, I think it should not take more than 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so this was all about RTP May 26. इस पे leverage पे एक ही question है, a very unique question and a good question, and that we have solved. Now let's see for other attempts RTP. Let's see for Jan 26. अगर leverage का question होगा, we will solve that. Since we are doing revisionary lectures, so I highly suggest हम revision test paper ही करें. Okay, it is question number 8. Leverage question number 8. Following balance sheet and income statement have been obtained from the books of accounts of Pinaka Private Limited. So this is the balance sheet as on 31st March. They have also given income statement as on 31st March. Determine the degree of operating, financial and combined leverage at the current level of sales. Okay? And if all operating expenses other than depreciation are variable cost. Means total operating expense is 12 lakh. उसमें से 6 lakh is depreciation. तो question is trying to say जो 6 lakh balance बचा है वो सारे variable है. Are you following? Only depreciation is a fixed cost. ठीक है? So my revised income statement for question 8 would be sales is 34 lakhs less variable cost. Variable cost, can I say it will be 6 lakh only now? 12 lakh is the total operating expense. उसमें से 6 lakh minus depreciation. Why? Because depreciation is a fixed cost. So 28 lakh would be my contribution. Less fixed cost 6 lakh. 22 lakh EBIT. ठीक है? Interest 6 lakh and EBT 16 lakh. Determine OL, FL, CL. Okay, very simple. EBIT में से फिर हम interest minus करेंगे. How much is the interest given? 6 lakh. ये सब 6 लाख ही है. So EBT comes to 16 lakhs. OL is equal to contribution upon EBIT. Contribution is 28 lakhs. EBIT is 22 lakhs. FL, since there is no preference share capital, FL is EBIT upon EBT. ठीक है? EBIT is 22 lakh, EBT is 16 lakh. Combined leverage is OL into FL. Tell me, how much is my OL coming to? 28 lakh divided by 22 lakh. 1.2727272727 and so on. Second is 22 lakh divided by 16. 1.375. 28 divided by 22 into 1.375. So this comes to 1.75. OL, FL, CL. Interest is 6 lakh, na? So EBT is 28 divided by 16, I guess. Not 17. EBT is 16 lakh, not 17 lakh. ठीक है? Everyone point A clear? Point A में क्या पूछा था? Calculate OL, sorry, point 1 में क्या पूछा था? OL, FL, CL. So this was all about point number 1. Simple. So just एक unique point, you can say it is not unique, but अगर कहना हो तो कह सकते हो कि unique point was यहाँ पे variable और fixed cost दोनों साथ में दिया हुआ है in term of operating expense और उसको हमें split करना है. Okay. Now let's read point number 2. If the total assets remain at the same level, but sales increase by 20% and scenario 2, sales decrease by 20%, compute earnings per share at the new sales level. सबसे पहले तो आपको ये सोचना है कि यहाँ पे रिलेशनशिप ऑफ सेल्स विथ अर्निंग्स पर शेयर बोला है, मींस इफेक्ट ऑफ सेल्स, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ सेल्स ऑन ईपीएस बोला है, करेक्ट? व्हेन सेल्स इंक्रीज बाय 10%, सॉरी 20%, तो इसकी इफेक्ट ईपीएस पे कितनी आएगी? दिस दे हैव आस्क्ड, यस और नो? एंड व्हेन सेल्स डिक्लाइन बाय 20%, तो उसकी ईपीएस पे इफेक्ट कितनी आएगी? दिस दे हैव आस्क्ड। बोलो, विच लेवरेज स्टडीज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन सेल्स एंड ईपीएस? विच लेवरेज स्टडीज द इफेक्ट ऑफ सेल्स ऑन ईपीएस? बताओ कौन सा लेवरेज, कौन से लेवरेज की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? इस कुलदीप, सेल्स और ईपीएस, ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज वाज सेल्स टू ईबीआईटी, combined leverage, yes. How, Aditya? Operating is sales to EBIT, effect of sales on EBIT, but यहाँ पे effect of sales on EPS पूछा है. Read the question carefully. So sales और EPS का relationship sales से शुरू होता है, अंत EPS पे होता है, combined leverage, correct? So can I say combined leverage is nothing but percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in sales. This is interpretation formula of combined leverage. We already revised this formula. How much is combined leverage? 1.75. So can I say 1.75 is equal to percentage change in EPS? How much is percentage change in sales happening? Increase by 20%. Correct? So percentage change in sales increase by 20%. This is A. B. Combined leverage is 1.75. Percentage change in EPS. In scenario 2, sales is decreasing by 20%. तो बोलो, therefore percentage change in EPS कितना होगा? Can I say it will be 20 into 1.5? 20 into 1.75. Sorry, not 1.5, but 1.75. EPS मेरा 35% से बढ़ जाएगा, एंड इन सिनेरियो 2 इट वुड बी EPS 35% से कम हो जाएगा. Therefore, percentage change in EPS will be decreased by 35%. Clear? Sales 10% से बढ़ेगा तो मेरा EPS 17.5% से बढ़ेगा. बट यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन है सेड दैट सेल्स इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय 20%. So can I say relatively EPS will increase by 35%? And likewise, when sales decrease by 20%, EPS will relatively decrease by 35%. Bolo, any queries? So simply I have used the formula of interpretation of combined leverage. Interpretation वाली formula use की है. हाँ, बट आपको ये क्लिक होना चाहिए कि क्वेश्चन में इफेक्ट ऑफ सेल्स ऑन ईपीएस पूछा है, मींस कंबाइंड लेवरेज की बात कर रहे हैं. आर यू फॉलोइंग? दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कंबाइंड लेवरेज. दिस शुड बी क्लिक्ड. ओके, सो इफ ईपीएस इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय 35%, कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट वुड बी माय रिवाइज्ड ईपीएस? सो सबसे पहले लेट्स कैलकुलेट एग्जिस्टिंग ईपीएस कितना आ रहा है. माय ईबीटी वाज 16 लाख. इसमें से हम टैक्स माइनस करते हैं. हाउ मच इज द टैक्स रेट गिवन एनीवेयर? इज टैक्स रेट गिवन? हाँ, टैक्स रेट इज गिवन एट 35%. So tax at 35%, which comes to 5,60,000. So I will get earnings after tax, which comes to 10,40,000. ठीक है? चेक द बैलेंस शीट. बैलेंस शीट पे कहीं पे भी प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल है? नहीं है, so no need to subtract preference dividend. Can I say this EAT will be my earnings for equity? And if we divide by number of equity shares, so can I say I will get my existing EPS when sales is at 34 lakhs. Are you following? So कितना EPS है? How much is the number of shares? 80 lakh का share capital है. One share is of having face value 10 each. So can I say number of equity share is 8 lakhs? Number of equity share is 8 lakhs. So 1040 divided by 8 lakh, which comes to 1.3. This is my existing EPS. अब अगर मैं जब सेल्स 20% से बढ़ा रहा हूं, तो कहना है से मेरा EPS 35% से प्लस हो जाएगा. एंड जब मैं सेल्स 20% से गिरा रहा हूं, आई एम डिक्रीजिंग सेल्स बाय 20%, तो माय EPS विल फॉल बाय 35%. आर यू फॉलोइंग? So this will be my revised EPS 1.3 plus 35%, 1.3 minus 35%. Followed? Therefore, revised EPS. Case 1, when sales increase by 20%, तो मेरे EPS is showing an effect of 35%. So 1.3 plus 35%. So 1.3 plus 35%. 1.755. And when sales decrease by 20%, तो उस केस में 1.3 minus 35%. So 1.3 minus 35%, rupees 0.845. Understood? This is my revised EPS. See, उन्होंने पूछा है compute the earnings per share. Earnings per share कितने परसेंट से fluctuate होगा वो नहीं पूछा है. They have asked to calculate final EPS. Give us the revised EPS. This is what they have asked. Clear, students? Any queries? Question 8, MTP Jan 26. Clear? RTP, so not MTP but RTP. So it was a very neutral question on leverage. Very easy. This can be solved, I guess, within 5 to 7 minutes. 7 minutes max. So मई जैन हो गया, फिर आएगा दिसंबर नहीं, सितंबर में होगा, September 25. We will also try and solve one case scenario that is given in module, because I guess live virtual classes में वो case scenario शायद cover नहीं हुआ होगा due to time constraints. So we will try to cover that as well, so that you get the feel of how case studies are framed. Again, this is a good question. So question 7 is again leverages. Okay. I am opening the solution as well so that we can verify our solutions. Question 7. Okay. Let's read this very carefully and let's try to solve what is asked in the question. X Limited and Y Limited are two mid-sized companies operating in the same competitive industry. Okay. Both companies have recently undergone a financial review to assess their operational efficiency, cost structure, and overall financial risk. Okay. You as a financial analyst have been provided with selective financial indicators and are asked and are required to draw insights and comparisons based on leverage analysis and income statement reconstruction. ठीक है? So leverage analysis करना है, income statement हमें बनाना है. The management of X Limited has disclosed that the company is currently operating with margin of safety ratio of 0.1667. Okay. So this is question 7, RTP, September 2025. Okay. There are two companies, X Limited, Y Limited. Let's just accumulate the data that is given in the question. क्या बोला है? X Limited का margin of safety is 0.1667. ठीक है, so let me write that 0.1667. 0.1667 means in percentage it is 16.67%. ठीक है, 0.1667 means it is nothing but in percentage it is 16.67. In the contrast, Y Limited has a safety margin twice as that of X Limited. ये तो कहना है से Y Limited का it is twice of X Limited into 2, which comes to 1667 into 2.3334. Yes or no? Any doubts still here, students? Clear? So देखो, margin of safety for X is 0.1667 and for Y is twice of X. Can you see? 0.3334. Clear till here? I am just gathering the data so that solution में हमें easy रहे. Next paragraph. Both the companies maintain a financial leverage of 3. Oh, okay. Financial leverage for both the companies 3. ठीक है. लिख दिया. Variable cost ratios are 60% for X and 50% for Y Limited. So can I say variable cost to sales is 60% of sales and 50% of sales for Y. तो PV ratio कितना होगा? PV ratio would be 40% in case of X Limited, 50% in case of Y Limited. In terms of financing cost, X Limited incurs an annual interest expense of 30,000. Okay, so interest in rupees for X Limited is 30,000. Getting it? And for Y Limited, however, it incurs an interest cost that is 300% higher than X Limited. मतलब कि X Limited का जो interest amount है ना, उससे 3% higher, not 3% of X Limited. It is 3% higher of X Limited. Means can I say higher of X Limited means 30,000 plus 300% करेंगे. 30,000 का 300% नहीं करना है, 30,000 पे 300% ऐड करना है. Higher. Are you following? So 30,000 plus 300%. So which comes to 1,20,000. So interest for X Limited is 30,000 and interest for Y Limited is 1,20,000. अच्छा, आप 30,000 पे 300% करोगे तो 90,000 आएगा. But that is wrong. अगर 90,000 होता तो उसमें वर्डिंग्स क्या होते हैं? 300% of X Limited's interest. बट यहाँ पे बोला है 300% हायर देन X Limited. अंडरस्टूड? दोनों में डिफरेंस है. स्मॉल डिफरेंस, अ थिन लाइन ऑफ डिफरेंस, बट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंस. वरना कैलकुलेशन चेंज हो जाएगा, अमाउंट चेंज हो जाएंगे. क्लियर स्टूडेंट? स्टिल हियर? Both the companies are subject to tax of 30%. So tax rate in both the case is 30%. Okay. Thank you for the information. You are required to prepare income statement for both the companies and identify the company which is better placed with reasons based on leverages. Means first आपको क्या बनाना है? Income statement बनाना है and see based on leverage कौन सी company is better position. मीन्स बेटर पोजीशन कहने से जिसमें लेवरेज कम होगा. लेवरेज कम मीन्स रिस्क कम, Risk come means that company would be better placed based on leverage is followed. So let's prepare income statement का format for both the companies. They've asked income statement, correct? For X and for Y. Starting हम sales से करेंगे. Less variable cost will give me contribution. इसमें से हम fixed cost minus करेंगे. I will get EBIT. Less interest minus करेंगे. I will get EBT. Less tax minus करेंगे at 30% for both the case. I will get earnings after tax. ठीक है? अच्छा, number of equity shares कहीं पे भी नहीं दिया है. So no need to find EPS. Earnings after tax पे रुक जाओ. ठीक है? So step 1, be ready with the format. Format ready. Step 2, substitute the values which is directly available. हमने ये सब जो इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करी है उसमें कौन सी अमाउंट डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है? इंटरेस्ट है 30,000, 1,20,000. तो कहना ऐसे एक्स के इंटरेस्ट पे मैं 30,000 लिखूंगा एंड वाई पे 1,20,000 लिखूंगा. इसके अलावा कोई भी डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल आइटम है दैट वी कैन डायरेक्टली सब्स्टिट्यूट इन द इनकम स्टेटमेंट? इसके अलावा कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल है? So now we are stuck. So whenever you are stuck in leverages and ratios, we start our treasure hunt game. Treasure hunt game. Use the information that you have gathered and try to find something else, some another ratio, some another variable, some another line item. Try to reach to treasure or to second hint. Are you following? So my first hint is MOS. When MOS is 0.1667, can I say operating leverage is inverse of MOS? So 1 divided by 0.1667 for X and 1 divided by 0.3334 for Y. Are you following? So this is the first hint. We started our treasure hunt game from finding OL. 1 divided by 0.1667. 5.9988 means 6 times आया and 1 divided by 0.3334 means 3 times आया. So OL of X limited is 3. OL of X is 6, OL of Y is 3, FL is 3 and 3. ओके सर, OL तो कैलकुलेट किया बट यहाँ पे OL कहाँ लिखना है? हमें तो इनकम स्टेटमेंट बनाना है. बट जब मुझे OL मिल गया, अच्छा सॉरी, मेरे पास FL भी है, FL है वर्किंग नोट 1. Okay, let's just check whether we have solved correctly or not. Operating leverage is 6 for X. ठीक है. Operating leverage for Y is 3. This is correct. ठीक है. So OL is 6 for X. OL is 3 for Y limited. Okay. Can I say I have FL with me? FL of 3 and 3. FL की formula क्या है? FL is nothing but EBIT upon EBT. अच्छा, EBIT upon EBT. EBT can be written as EBIT minus interest. ठीक है? So for X limited, FL is 3. EBIT I don't know. I want to find that. Interest I know for X limited is 30,000. Can you all tell me what is EBIT for X limited? Using normal mathematics calculation. So 3 EBIT minus 90,000 is equal to EBIT. 2 EBIT is equal to 90,000. So 90,000 divided by 2. 45,000 आया सबका EBIT. Everyone for X Limited. Yes, EBIT can be worked. We have financial leverage. ठीक है. Likewise for Y Limited मैं ढूंढ सकता हूं. Y Limited का भी financial leverage is 3. EBIT I don't know. Upon EBIT I don't know. Minus interest for Y Limited is 120. So therefore EBIT for Y Limited will be how much? 3 EBIT minus 360 is equal to EBIT. 2 EBIT is equal to 360. 360, 180. Everyone getting this? So EBIT of X Limited is 45. EBIT of Y Limited is 180. ठीक है. So EBIT है, interest है, तो 15,000 would be my EBT. And यहाँ पे 60,000 would be my EBT. Tax is 30%. So 15,345, 4,500 tax, 6,318, 18,000 tax over here. 15,000 minus 4,500, 10,500 and 42,000. Clear? So EBIT से earnings after tax का सफर हमारा कट गया. Understood? And EBIT we calculated using working note number 1. So always give reference of working note. It is a good sign. It creates good impression to the examiner. ठीक है? Working note number 1, calculation of EBIT. Calculation of EBIT using financial leverage. ठीक है? Clear everyone? So first hint we started to find EBIT. Yes. Now can I say I have EBIT? I have operating leverage. I can easily find this contribution amount. Why? Because operating leverage is nothing but contribution upon EBIT. So from working note number 2, we will calculate contribution. Working note number 2, calculation of contribution using operating leverage. OL is nothing but contribution upon EBIT. For X Limited, OL is 6, contribution I don't know, EBIT I know 45,000. So therefore contribution comes to 45,000 into 6, 2,70,000 for X Limited. For Y Limited, OL was 3, contribution I don't know, but EBIT I just found from working note number 1, 180. So therefore contribution for Y Limited comes to 5,40,000. Okay? So from working note 2, we found contribution 2,70,000, 5,40,000. So balancing figure would be my fixed cost 270 minus 45,000. 2,25,000 balancing figure would be fixed cost for X Limited. 540 minus 180, 360, 3,60,000 would be fixed cost balancing figure for Y Limited. अब कंट्रीब्यूशन तक भी पहुंच गए. कंट्रीब्यूशन से सेल्स तक का सफर काटना है. रिवर्स गियर. They have not given directly PV ratio, but we have found PV ratio. Yes or no? While gathering the information, we found the PV ratio. It is 40% for X and 50% for Y. So can I say therefore sales for X Limited would be 270 divided by 0.4, 6,75,000 and 540 divided by 0.5, 10,80,000. Correct? Everyone understood this? How did we calculate? Yes, contribution divided by PV ratio. So my balancing figure will be my variable cost. 540, 675 minus 270, 4,05,000. Did you understand the income statement preparation? Any doubts in this? Let's just check our solution. 675, 1080, 10,500, 42,000. 675, 10,500, 1080, 42,000. Okay? Now, so this is done. Prepare income statement for both the companies. But they have also asked identify which company is better placed with reasons based on leverages. Based on leverages बोला है. So from earnings point of view, company Y has more earnings, but सामने sales भी उसका ज्यादा है. Are you following everyone? So we cannot directly compare X and Y in absolute number terms. Are you following? Directly earnings of X and Y compare नहीं कर सकते. Why? Because दोनों का sales अलग है. But दोनों के risk factor तो compare कर सकते हैं. And based on that, we can decide which company is better placed. ठीक है? So point number 2. Operating leverage for X limited, for Y limited. Operating leverage is 6, for Y limited is 3, financial leverage is 3 and 3. So therefore, can I say combined leverage would be 18 and combined leverage would be 9? Can I say Y limited is less risky compared to X limited? Yes or no? उसका रीजन क्या है? बिकॉज उसका ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज कम है. See, financial leverage is same in either case. So as far as financial risk is concerned, both are at par. But as far as business risk, as far as operating leverage, operating risk is concerned, Y limited is less risky. Are you following? So that's why it is better placed. So operating leverage अगर Y limited का कम होगा, financial leverage being same, combined leverage कम आएगा overall. Are you following everyone? So this is what they have mentioned in the solution. Company Y is better than company X based on leverage is Y, because company Y का interest coverage ratio is same. Interest coverage ratio is why it is coming to same, because financial leverage is same in both the case. ठीक है? So company capacity of company Y to meet interest liability is same as company X. So X का interest coverage ratio is 1.5, Y का it is 1.5 and वो same आना ही चाहिए. Why? Because financial leverage is same. As far as financial risk is concerned, it is same. Are you following everyone? But however, company Y has less, there is some mistake over here, has lesser operating risk, as the total risk of company Y is lower. See, this is, I think you should ignore this term. Company Y has less total risk. ठीक है? Compared to X. Combined leverage 18 for X and combined leverage 9 for Y. ठीक है? So the total risk is less for company Y as compared to company X. Understood? So that's why as far as leverages are concerned, company Y is better placed because उसमें risk कम है. रिस्क कौन सा कम है? फाइनेंशियल रिस्क कम नहीं है, वो तो सेम ही है, बट ऑपरेटिंग रिस्क, बिजनेस रिस्क कम है. अंडरस्टूड? सो दिस ऑल थियरी यू नीड टू राइट इन पॉइंट नंबर 2. Clear, students? Any doubts, any concerns, any queries? In question number 7, RTP September 25. In every question we have, no, not in every question. Whenever they have asked, you need to give. But question ने बोला ही नहीं है ऐसा conclusion draw करने का, then no need to give. Can we write business risk instead of financial risk? No, financial business risk means operating risk. ठीक है? So you cannot write business risk instead of financial risk. Operating risk and business risk is interchangeably used. Financial risk is separate. So that's what I said. There is some little error in the statement, but actually it is company-wise better placed. Why? Because it has less total risk. Less total risk क्यों? क्योंकि उसका operating risk कम है. So there is some interchange, there is some printing error in the last part. It is not wrong. You just focus on the concept and draw the conclusion. ठीक है? The conclusion is company Y is better placed. Based on leverage. Why it is better placed than company X? Because its total risk, that is combined leverage, is less compared to company X. अच्छा, combined leverage कम क्यों आया? Combined leverage is less for company Y because operating risk in the form of fixed operating cost is less. ठीक है? Operating risk is less. ठीक है? So this is the conclusion in very simple terms. So don't unnecessarily complicate things for yourself. So this was RTP September 25. Let's take one more RTP for leverage question and then we will move forward for case study that is given in module. So September 25. उसके पहले कौन सा आएगा? May 25. Question again, question number 7. RTP May 2025. Details of Kshitij Limited for the year ended 31st March 2025 are given below. So they have given some details on income statement like sales दिया है, BEP sales दिया है, fixed cost दिया है, equity share capital दिया है, cost of debt दिया है. You are asked to calculate operating leverage, financial leverage, and combined leverage in point number 1. So this is question number 7. Calculate operating leverage, financial leverage, combined leverage, PV ratio. ठीक है? Okay. Operating leverage 1 divided by MOS. So let's start. Operating leverage. Formula is either you can use 1 by MOS or either you can use contribution upon EBIT. यहाँ पे मैं 1/MOS. Why would I prefer 1/MOS? Why would I prefer to use this formula? Because they have given BEP sales. So I can easily find margin of safety. So working note number 1. Calculation of margin of safety. What is margin of safety की formula? It is nothing but actual sales less BEP sales upon actual sales into 100 upon actual sales into 100. This formula you have learned in detail in costing as well. How much is my actual sales? 180 lakh. BEP sales is 120 lakh. So margin of safety in rupees is 60 lakh. Upon 180 lakh into 100. So 1/3 means 0.333 means 33.33%. 33.3333%, which is nothing but 0.3333. Yes or no? So if MOS is 0.3333, can I say OL is 1 divided by 0.333333? कितना आ रहा है? 1 divided by 0.3333. Tell me how much is operating leverage coming to? Please calculate and tell me. 1 divided by 0.33. ये करो ना calculate. 1 divided by 0.3333, exact 3.00. So it comes to 3. Okay. So operating leverage is done. Operating leverage comes to 3. Okay, next. We are asked to calculate financial leverage. So this is first में A, operating leverage. B, financial leverage. What is the formula? It is nothing but EBIT upon EBT. Check in the question anywhere. Have they given EBIT? Anywhere have they given EBT? Have they given anything? So we need to first calculate. How will we calculate? Can I say मेरे पास? Okay. For the sake of simplicity, let's just prepare income statement so that सारा आसानी से सब details हम calculate कर सके, आसानी से सब variables उठा सके. ठीक है? So deep down over here, I am preparing income statement so that हमें calculation में आसानी रहे. Because leverages at the end are calculated using income statement as a source document. ठीक है? So sales less variable cost, contribution less fixed cost, EBIT less interest, EBT less tax, EAT. ठीक है? No preference share capital is given, is mentioned in the question. So our income statement will end at EAT. Sales दिया हुआ है 180 lakhs. इसके साथ साथ हमें फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट एक्सक्लूडिंग इंटरेस्ट, मतलब फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट दिया हुआ है 45 lakhs. Correct? Now, apart from this, nothing else is given. हाँ, apart from this, debt is given 90 lakh. ये उसका इंटरेस्ट रेट कितना होगा? सर इंटरेस्ट रेट इज 9%. So tell me interest amount कितना होगा? ये BEP is given, but anywhere in the income statement हमें BEP लिखना होता है क्या? In the income statement, do we need to write BEP sales anywhere? BEP का जो काम था हमने यूटिलाइज कर दिया to calculate MOS. Tell me how much would be my interest amount over here? 90 lakh is the debt and cost of debt is given 9%. बोलो interest amount कितना लिखूं? 8.1. 90 lakh का 9%. How many students are saying, sir, interest is 8 lakh 10,000? Kuldeep is saying, sir, 8 lakh 10. Any other answer? Any other answer from other students? Kuldeep. Yes, we need to give effect. Sid also is saying 8 lakh 10, but students 8 lakh 10 is wrong. Why? Because interest rate is not 9%. Interest rate is not equal to 9%. KD is equal to 9%. Cost of debt is equal to 9%. This is what they have said. So this is one tricky adjustment that student misses out. यहाँ मिस्टेक करते हैं स्टूडेंट 90 लाख पे सीधा 9% लगा के इंटरेस्ट अमाउंट ढूंढते हैं बट इंटरेस्ट का रेट 9% नहीं है दिस इज केडी 9%. ये केडी कैसे आया होगा तो कहना है ऐसे इंटरेस्ट 1 माइनस टी करके आया होगा. So 9 is equal to interest I don't know but 1 minus tax rate is how much? 0.25. Correct? So actually the interest rate is 9 divided by 0.75 which comes to 12%. Are you following? So 90 lakh पे हमें 9% नहीं हमें 12% लगाने हैं. Understood everyone? So this comes to 1,08,000. Sorry, 90 lakh पे 12%, 10.8 lakhs. Everyone followed this? So interest comes to 10.8 lakhs. Clear? Any student has doubt in this कि interest सर 12% क्यों लिया 9% क्यों नहीं लिया? आगे बढ़ू. Please respond fast now. We don't have much time. Okay. Okay. So जब मेरे पास ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज है 3, जब मेरे पास फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है 45 लाख तो कहना है इसे मैं ईबीआई कंट्रीब्यूशन ढूंढ सकता हूं. सर कैसे ढूंढेंगे? वर्किंग नोट से ढूंढेंगे. वर्किंग नोट 2 कैलकुलेशन ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूशन. OL is nothing but contribution upon EBIT. EBIT को मैं contribution minus fixed cost भी लिख सकता हूं. OL we just calculated above. OL was 3 times. So 3 is equal to contribution, the whole divided by contribution minus fixed cost of 45 lakh. So therefore contribution comes to 45 into 3, 135 divided by 2, 67.5 lakh. Everyone बोलो ये करेक्ट है. So 67.5 lakh is contribution, 45 lakh is EBIT. तो मेरा सॉरी 45 lakh is fixed cost तो EBIT आया 22.5 lakh. 10.8 lakh is interest. So 11.7 lakh is my EBT. Tax is at 25%. So 8.775 lakh is my EAT. And बचा हुआ balancing figure would be my variable cost. 180 minus 67.5. 112.5 lakh is my variable cost. Followed everyone. इनकम स्टेटमेंट बन गया. एक बार इनकम स्टेटमेंट बन गया ना फिर जॉब इज इजी फॉर यू. सो 1 में बी फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज इट इज नथिंग बट EBIT अपॉन EBT. हाउ मच इज माय EBIT? 22.5 lakh. EBT is how much? 11.7 lakh. Clear? So 22.5 divided by 11.7. Financial leverage comes to 1.9231. फिर 1 में सी क्या पूछा है? कंबाइंड लेवरेज. इट इज नथिंग बट OL into FL. OL was 3, FL is 1.9231. So combined leverage comes to 1.9231 into 3, 5.7693. All students clear? OL, FL, CL. PV ratio पूछा है. PV ratio is nothing but contribution upon sales into 100. Contribution is 67.5 lakh. Sales is 180 lakh into 100. So PV ratio comes to 67.5 divided by 180 into 100. 37.5%. Sir, if excluding interest not given in fixed cost, मतलब यहाँ पे this. So then you have two alternatives in that case. You can presume that fixed cost excludes interest. This is one opinion. You can also presume fixed cost includes interest. But जो भी आप presume करो उसकी clear note लिख देने का नीचे. ठीक है? But ideally, if we see the trend of leverages question, जब भी fixed cost question में सिर्फ fixed cost ऐसा बोला होता है तो इट मींस ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. ठीक है? जो भी हम पास्ट के मॉड्यूल में क्वेश्चन देखे, पास्ट के एमटीपी आरटीपी देखे, जब भी सिर्फ टर्म फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट यूज हुआ होता है, ब्रैकेट में एक्सक्लूडिंग इंटरेस्ट नहीं लिखा होता है, सो इट वाज बाय डिफॉल्ट प्रिज्यूम्ड एज ऑपरेटिंग फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट. अंडरस्टैंडिंग? सो दिस वाज पॉइंट नंबर 1. नहीं था ये, ए था. ए में 1 2 3 4. A में this was 2, A में this was 3, A में this was 4. अब आते हैं B में. B में क्या पूछा है? रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड एंड EPS. सो B में फर्स्ट पूछा है ROCE, रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड. कैन आई से इट इज नथिंग बट EBIT अपॉन टोटल कैपिटल इनटू 100. यस और नो? टोटल कैपिटल इंटू 100. सो EBIT हमारा कितना आया था? सो वंस दिस इनकम स्टेटमेंट इज रेडी ना, सी देखो हाउ इजी वी आर एबल टू सॉल्व एवरीथिंग. EBIT is 22.5 lakh. Total capital, can I say it is nothing but debt plus equity share capital? So 150 lakh plus 90 lakh into 100. So 22.5 divided by 240 into 100. 9.375% is my ROCE. Second क्या पूछा है? B में EPS. EPS is nothing but earnings per share. Yes or no? My earnings after tax was 8.775 lakh. ठीक है? 8.775 lakh means 8 lakh 77,500 divided by number of equity shares. 150 lakh is total capital. One share is of 100 each. So can I say 1,50,000 would be number of equity shares? ₹5.85. 5.85 per share is my EPS. बोलो पॉइंट नंबर बी. एनी क्वेरीज? एनी स्टूडेंट हैज एनी डाउट्स? ROCE कैसे कैलकुलेट किया? Yes, if include is specifically mentioned, then you need to segregate. That is just very basic understanding. ठीक है? इंक्लूड बोला है तो फिर वो सेग्रीगेट करना ही पड़ेगा. नो ऑप्शन इन दैट केस. Part B, any queries? Okay, I assume it is clear. Let's move to part C. Does Kshitij Limited have favorable financial leverage? A double X squad याद करो. Favorable financial leverage कब होता था? When ROI, if ROI is greater than interest percentage, fixed cost percentage, it is favorable. यहाँ पे ROI कितना है? Since ROI is less than interest percent of 12, can I say it is unfavorable? Everyone followed this. It is unfavorable. So this was point number C. So let's just check whether they have prepared income statement. Okay. ROCE 9.375, EPS 5.85, CL 5.7693, FL 1.923, ROC less than interest. Kshitij Limited does not have favorable financial leverage. ठीक है. लास्ट क्या पूछा है? परसेंटेज चेंज इन ईपीएस इफ ईबीआईटी इंक्रीजेस और डिक्रीजेस बाय 15%. सी हो गया. डी में आते हैं. डी, what they have asked, percentage change in EPS due to changes in EBIT, correct? So can I say in short they are asking calculate effect of EBIT on EPS? Yes or no? If EBIT increase decreases by 15%, so EPS will increase decrease by how much percent? This is what they have asked. तो याद करो EBIT और EPS का रिलेशनशिप कौन सा लेवरेज? Tell me which leverage studies the relationship between EBIT and EPS? Financial leverage, absolutely correct. So how much is financial leverage? 1 point कुछ तो था, 1.9231 था. Yes or no? So if EBIT increases or decreases by 15%, can I say EPS will increase or decrease by 15 into 1.9231? Yes or no? So financial leverage interpretation वाली formula, percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in EBIT. ठीक है. 1.9231 is equal to, I don't know percentage change in EPS, but I know EBIT is changing by 15% up and down. Yes or no? So therefore, percentage change in EPS will be increase decrease by 15 into 1.9231. 28.8465%. Clear, students? 28.8465%. ठीक है. So EPS will increase decrease by 28.8465%. Any doubts? Any queries? Any questions in any of the points A, B, C, D? RTP May 25. Everyone clear? Okay. So we have solved 4 questions from RTP May 26, Jan 26, September 25, May 25. Now we have 15 minutes to go. Let's quickly solve, or at least let's discuss case study on leverages from module. Time मिलता है तो we will completely solve. Time नहीं मिलता है तो we will quickly discuss how to solve. So leverage is chapter 6. केस स्टडी कहाँ है? केस स्टडी है लास्ट में पेज नंबर 38 ऑफ योर मॉड्यूल। क्या? Bash Limited, a prominent company in semiconductor industry, aims to understand the impact of operating and combined leverage on its financial performance for March 31st, 2024. By examining the provided details, companies seek to make informed decisions regarding its cost structure and financing mix. Bash Limited is well-established firm known for its products in the market. With focus on innovation and customer satisfaction, company has achieved significant growth and success over the years. Financial analysis for the year ending 31st March 2024. Following details are available. Fixed cost excluding interest 2040 lakhs. Sales 30,000 lakhs. 12% debenture of rupees 100 each, 21 to 50 lakhs. Equity share capital of 10 each, 17,000 lakh. Income tax 30%. Mr. Pallav Kumar, Executive Director from Engineering background, discussed following analysis with CA Nagarjun, Additional Director of the company. So दो डायरेक्टर के बीच कुछ चर्चा विचारणा हो रही है। क्या चर्चा हो रही है? लेट्स सी. Operating leverage which is currently at 1.4. So can I say currently operating leverage is 1.4. Combined leverage considers both operating and financial leverage. It is calculated as product of operating and financial leverage. Company's combined leverage is 2.8. So in short, ये पूरे पैराग्राफ में से OL is 1.4, CL is 2.8. So you need to learn how to gather the data. What is relevant from paragraph? सब कुछ relevant नहीं होता. जैसे paragraph 1 and 2 was just basic of the company information, basic info of the company. It is of no use for us. So don't waste time in that all thing. Okay? Nagarjun explained to Pallav that finance department is already analyzing various leverages. Due to this, Bash Limited gains insights to its structure and risk. This information enables the company to make strategic decisions. Okay. Again, all this is general information. It is of no use. Continuous monitoring and evaluation of leverage will be essential for Bash Limited. Okay, that is also additional general information. Now come to the question. Calculate financial leverage. So can I say जब मेरे पास OL और CL दोनों है, CL is nothing but OL into FL. CL is 2.8. OL is 1.0. FL I don't know. So can I say therefore FL comes to 2.8 divided by 1.4 means 2. आ गया 2. So answer is B. Understood, students? Answer is B. Any doubts in question 1 MCQ? If preference dividend is given, then we compare ROI with WACC. WACC में तो आपका इक्विटी भी आ जाता है. So WACC नहीं, but you have to compare with cost of debt and cost of preference capital. Because WACC में तो equity भी आ जाता है, and equity is not a fixed cost fund. So that you don't need to consider over there. Second is calculate PV ratio. So calculate PV ratio. PV ratio की formula क्या है? PV ratio is nothing but contribution upon sales into 100. ठीक है? Let's see क्या हमारे पास sales है? हमारे पास sales है 30,000 lakh. क्या हमारे पास contribution का figure है कहीं पे भी? नहीं है। अगर वेरिएबल कॉस्ट होता डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल तो हमें कंट्रीब्यूशन डायरेक्टली मिल जाता, बट यहाँ पे वेरिएबल कॉस्ट डायरेक्टली अवेलेबल नहीं है, सो कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं मिलेगा. सो वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट कंट्रीब्यूशन यूजिंग ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज. Operating leverage is nothing but contribution upon EBIT, and EBIT can be written as contribution minus fixed cost. Operating leverage given 1.4, contribution I don't know, but fixed cost I know, it is 2040 lakhs. Are you following? So 1.4 into 2040. 2856 lakh is equal to 0.4. 7140 lakh. Contribution comes to 7140 lakh. Hey, everyone, are you getting this? Yes, contribution upon sales. Calculate करो तो 7140 lakh आया कि नहीं? Everyone, are you getting this? 7140 lakh is correct. So contribution upon sales. 7140 lakh divided by 30,000 lakhs into 100. 23.8%. Solution में है क्या 23? Any option is there? 23 point, yes. Option C 23.8%. 7140 divided by 30,000 lakhs into 100. ठीक है 23.8%. Option 3 calculate earnings per share. ये to calculate earnings per share हमें income statement बनाना पड़ेगा. So sales 30,000 lakhs. Contribution now I can easily calculate because PV ratio मिल गया. PV ratio is 23.8%. So 30,000 lakhs का अच्छा कंट्रीब्यूशन भी हमें मिल गया था 7140 lakhs. Fixed cost is given in the question. It is how much? Fixed cost is 2040 lakhs. 2040. So EBIT will come to 7140 minus 2040. 5,100 lakhs. इंटरेस्ट माइनस करेंगे. इंटरेस्ट की डिटेल्स अवेलेबल है. 21,250 लाख इस डिबेंचर्स का अमाउंट, उस पे 12%, 2550 lakh. So I will get EBT 5,100 minus 2550. 2550 lakh. Tax is given at 30%. So 2550 minus 30%. 1785 lakh is my EAT. 1785 lakh is my EAT. Divide by, since there is no preference dividend, earnings after tax will be my earnings for equity. Divide by number of equity share. 17,000 lakh is share capital. One share is 10 each. तो कहना है 1700 लाख शेयर होंगे. So 1785 divided by 1700. EPS comes to 1.05. EPS 1.05 है ऑप्शन में. 1.05 is there in the option. Option B is correct. So 1.05. Let's see the solution. Option B is correct. For 2 it was C. ठीक है, clear. Asta, please focus on the current question. I will come back to that. You are disturbing the flow of the question. I read your question. I read your query. I will answer to that. But again and again, you are just sending same query. It is disturbing the flow of the current question. So avoid doing that, please. It is breaking the link of the current question. You should have some little patience. Fourth, calculate. Acha, till point 3. Third MCQ clear, everyone? Any doubts in third MCQ? Okay, third is clear. Fourth, calculate asset turnover ratio. What is the formula to calculate asset turnover ratio? What formula have you learned in ratios chapter? Tell me. What is the formula to calculate asset turnover ratio? Send in the comment box. ये बताओ ना फॉर्मूला क्या है असेट टर्नओवर सेल्स अपॉन टोटल असेट this is the formula for asset turnover how much is sales 30,000 lakhs how much is total assets anywhere question has given total assets का फिगर बोलो कहीं पे भी क्वेश्चन में टोटल असेट दिया हुआ है तो कैन आई से टोटल ऑफ लायबिलिटी डेट प्लस इक्विटी विल बी माय टोटल ऑफ असेट्स yes or no total of liability side will be my total of asset side तो liability side में क्या है डेट है और इक्विटी है टोटल असेट will be equal to total liability total liability में क्या है डेट प्लस इक्विटी डेट is 21,250 plus 17,000 is equity so 21,250 plus 17,000 equity 38,250 lakh 38,250 lakh. So 30,000 divided by 38,250 0.7843 is asset turnover ratio. 0.7843 है 0.784. C is the correct answer. C. ठीक है 0.7843 asset turnover is 0.7843. Fifth, very important, calculate the level of sales which will be attained to at least pay finance cost of Bash Limited. Means they are asking you to calculate sales such that you just cover your finance cost. मतलब कि आप इतना कवर इंटरेस्ट कवर कर पा रहे हो एक बार इंटरेस्ट कवर कर दिया मींस दिस ईबीटी इज जीरो दिस इज व्हाट दे आर आस्किंग calculate sales when you are covering your interest cost means can I say covering of interest cost means EBT will be zero yes or no means EBIT will be 2550 lakh correct अगर हमारा EBIT 2550 lakh है तो can I say we are just covering the interest 2550 yes or no 2040 lakh is fixed cost that will remain constant. So 2550 plus 2040. Contribution in that case will be 4590 lakhs. 4590 lakhs contribution है. मेरे पास contribution PV ratio भी है. So I can easily find sales 4590 divided by 0.238. 19,285 lakh के सेल्स पे ये 19,285 कैसे आया तो 4590 lakh ऑफ कंट्रीब्यूशन डिवाइड बाय पीवी रेशियो ए पीवी रेशियो विल नॉट चेंज ना इट विल रिमेन सेम आर यू फॉलोइंग सो आंसर 5 इज 19,285.71 lakh 0.71 आ रहा था so 19,285.71 lakh which comes to 19,286 ठीक है 19,286 so this is answer 5A 19,286 understood the case study on leverage 5A any doubts any concerns Clear, all students? Clear. Okay. Now coming to your query, in that case WACC, overall WACC नहीं ढूंढना होगा, आपको weighted average ही करना है, but weighted average only for interest and only for preference capital. This is my opinion. You should calculate weighted average of debt and weighted average of preference capital. उसका WACC, not overall cost of capital. See, overall cost of capital में आप debt, प्रेफरेंस इक्विटी सब लोगे, बट यहाँ पे डोंट टेक इक्विटी, कैलकुलेट WACC फॉर फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट फंड्स, फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट फंड्स, एंड कंपेयर दैट विद ROI. ठीक है, WACC फॉर नॉट ओवरऑल कंपनी बट फॉर फिक्स्ड फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट फंड्स. ठीक है, सो आई होप आई आंसर टू योर क्वेरी एंड आई होप this revisionary lecture was helpful to you all. आपको सारे leverages के concept एकदम easily याद आ गए. You are able to recollect, brush up everything. So thank you students. We will be back on April 7 with investment decision and dividend decision revisionary class. Okay, thank you, thank you. It means a lot. Thank you. I'm ending the session, tech team. Yeah.